My name is Andre Kindness, Principal Analyst serving Infrastructure and Operations at Forrester Research, specifically within the networking space. Yeah, wireless is definitely a fundamental capability with any type of vertical, whether it be the healthcare, education, or manufacturing. You really think about that mobility initiates and is synonymous with flexibility, and we think in each one of those there's the dynamics of manufacturing in a much more agile way to accommodate the products and services that ultimately go to the end customer. Healthcare is the same thing. We have very much a mobile environment where we're trying to serve that patient coming through and getting them the best medical attention possible. So to enable that to happen, you got to keep the doctors, the staff, and patients mobile in those environments. And the same thing in manufacturing. It's not just the workers, but also the robotics equipment gets moved around, changes for the different models that come down the manufacturing line. We see the same thing in other areas as well as education, using tablets and machinery and other types of educational equipment to keep students learning and excelling in their areas. So IoT is really, we'll be leveraging some of the wireless and specific Wi-Fi, but other low power technologies such as Bluetooth, Zigbee, RFID. You really think about this environment is that most of my customers run 3 or more wireless technologies within their environment, and each one of them may use the same spectrum, but ultimately they all come together to serve the business and ultimately the customer in a better way, because they each have their strengths to serve that area and to deliver a certain type of experience within itself. We think about Bluetooth coupled together with Wi-Fi, or even Zigbee coupled together with Wi-Fi, using those to enhance, for example, when we talk about Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, better location services. Individually, they provide good location services, but combined together, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi is really the ultimate when it comes to identifying devices or clients or troubleshooting that area itself. So a lot of these technologies are an enabler to connecting IoT devices, and because a lot of them won't use Wi-Fi and some of them will, depending on their needs, depending on the type of requirements for connectivity in this area, and you'll be using multiple types of wireless technologies to enable that to happen. So I think it comes down to maybe two things. One is on the management side, when you're enabling IoT connectivity or tablet connectivity, as I mentioned, that you need multiple types of wireless technologies to happen. You don't want to have different management systems and try to correlate what goes on in different management systems to manage Bluetooth separately versus Wi-Fi separately or Zigbee separately versus the other ones, because a lot of times they're using the same spectrum, 2.4 gigahertz for example. Although it's recommended to use 5 gigahertz for Wi-Fi, you still have a lot of older devices using that spectrum. You don't want to do, when you're looking at monitoring and collisions in this air, look at one management system and try to correlate with another one. So a lot of times when it comes to requirements, you look for a company and a solution that can bring everything together under a single pane of glass. So when you start to troubleshoot connectivity issues, when you're trying to troubleshoot location issues, you can actually look at multiple technologies under the same area. So management's one thing, and then the other side of it is offering a better experience. And as I mentioned before, every wireless technology has its strengths and its weaknesses, but combining them together, you can provide a better value to the end customer, whether it be location services itself or being able to provide information to the customer through their mobile device or the environment around them. You use multiple types of wireless technologies to enable that to happen. Management as well as monitoring. There's some of the challenges in the sense of as having separate systems out there causes some of the issues of not being able to correlate the data and solve some of the problems themselves. And so when we look at that environment, we really want to decrease the disconnect between the various systems out there and trying to troubleshoot the situations that clients may be having issues with, or the system that's providing the connectivity, whether it be the APs may be having signal noise ratio issues or noise issues from other surrounding types of devices and using the same spectrum themselves. So coming back to the challenges is how do you start to decrease the amount of disparate systems providing information and correlating between them.